Well, today is the day, ladies and gentlemen, as Erling Haaland and Manchester City rock up to Anfield to potentially further damage Liverpool's season and end Virgil van Dijk's incredible record of going many, many years in the Premier League without losing a home game at Anfield. So, plenty on the line today. For us Liverpool fans, hopefully it's going to be an incredible, magical day where the Reds somehow fight back against all of the odds, come back against the best team probably in world football, let's be perfectly honest, right now, and slay this absolute monster that is Manchester City. Or it could be another dark day to add to many dark days at the start of the season. Potentially could be the darkest day, really, because if rumours are to be believed that big old Kanate is out injured once again, my two least favourite words, being a Liverpool fan, muscle injury. If it's true that he's out, what do we do? Do we bring in Big Nat Phillips at at centre back up against Erling Haaland, or do we bring in James Milner at right back up against the likes of Grealish or Foden? And uh, neither one of those options will fill any Liverpool fan with too much joy. But I'm going to go through this video as a Liverpool fan, try and big us up a little bit, see what we can do in today's game. Obviously, all fans welcome. I want as many different viewpoints today in the comment section. Interaction is the name of the game. So, Liverpool fans, comment down below. How are you feeling? Are you excited? Are you up for this game? I hope you are. I'm nervous, but it's always exciting to watch the Reds. And Manchester City fans, how are you feeling? Obviously, you beat us at Anfield a couple of years ago during the COVID season, but this is a real opportunity to come here today, absolutely put a real statement win down, a marker win against your biggest sort of rivals over the past number of seasons. Obviously, this isn't going to be a title match, unfortunately, for Liverpool fans, but it's a real opportunity for Manchester City in front of the Anfield faithful, because you beat us 4-1 here a couple of years ago, which was an awful day to be a Liverpool fan. And the only saving grace for that is there were no fans in the stadium to witness it. So this is a real opportunity for Manchester City to keep in touch with Arsenal at this moment in time, who currently lead the way, but also to really sort of thrash and destroy their sort of biggest recent rivals in front of their home fans. So it's going to be a big day of football for both sets of fans. If you're brand new to this channel, welcome. My name is Dan. This is Big Sam's Long Balls football podcast. Make yourselves welcome. Give this video a like if you enjoy. Comment down below. I always want people commenting their thoughts. Doesn't matter if you're a Liverpool fan or whoever, really. I just like talking about footy with anyone. Even a Manchester United fan is welcome. So yeah, comment down below, give us a like, and subscribe. Help our small little channel build and grow, because about 7 o'clock tonight, I might need cheering up. So it'd be nice to see us get a few little bit more subscribers today. Predicted starting 11. I'm on the Anfield Watch Twitter page. For any Liverpool fans out there, I'd kind of recommend this page. I have no affiliation with these guys, by the way. But scrolling through the garbage on social media and Twitter in particular, it's very rare that you find decent football pages. But these guys seem pretty on it for all your Liverpool news. And this is a predicted starting 11. If the best possible situation is if old Kanate down here passes fit, and they've kind of gone for Ali at the back, or Ali in goal rather, Ali at the back. Joe Gomez keeps his place at right back. Big Verge stays centre back. Kanate sort of comes back in, and the return of Andrew Robertson, which was a real positive for us in midweek, going away to Rangers, beating them 7-1, which was amazing, incredible. But one of the biggest positives for me that night was seeing Andy Robertson come back, because I love a bit of Kostas Tsimikas, but seeing Robbo back, you could just see there were levels. There were levels to both of their performances. Thiago and Fabinho as a double pivot. Personally, I don't see it. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see Jurgen Klopp go this brave, but I don't see a world in which we drop Jordan Henderson. Firmino in the 10, Salah out wide, Diogo Jota on the left, and then big Darwin Nunez up top. Now, I like this. If we was going to go for a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2 or 4-4-2-4, I'd make a couple of changes. Now, if everyone's fit, I would do this. Obviously, I would rather have Gomez at right back and Kanate at centre back. If Kanate is out, you could always put Gomez here and put James Milner at right back, and maybe that would be the more likely and sensible option. However, I don't want James Milner playing in this position. I don't want James Milner anywhere on the pitch. No offense, Milner, but not against Manchester City, please. However, Gomez and Van Dijk, it doesn't fill me with too much confidence. We've seen it already this season a couple of times away from home. Napoli 4-1. Also, the 2-1 defeat away at Manchester United. And also, whenever I see these two starting together at centre-back, I just get flashbacks of Aston Villa a few years ago, 7-2 away from home with those two playing. So, a couple of years ago, yeah, these two would have been my number one centre-back partnership. But now they just don't seem to be able to build a partnership together. Hopefully, if Robertson's fit, I'd give him a start. Thiago and Fabinho, I would go with that. However, what I would do, because I really enjoyed Mo Salah's little cameo against Rangers, the fastest hat-trick in Champions League history. It was amazing, but he went straight through the middle. He went up top. He's been too wide at times. He's been too in and out of games this season. So what I would actually like to see is chuck in Harvey Elliott on that right-hand side. Maybe, a little bit too much for the youngster up against Manchester City. But I do think he's been one of our better players this season. I think he was one of our best players at the start of last season before he picked up that horrific injury away at Leeds. So he's a top player, Harvey Elliott. I think he's got the capability. He's struggled so far in a midfield three on that right-hand side in front of Trent or whether in front of Gomez, whoever really. It just doesn't seem to suit him. Now, we have to take into consideration that away at Rangers, they're not at the same level of a Manchester City. Of course they're not. However, he played a really good game out wide. He was getting the ball on the half spaces. He was running at that Rangers midfield and defence, cutting inside, up and down the pitch as well. You can't ever fault Harvey Elliott's work rate, but it just worked a lot better for me out wide rather than through the middle. What I'd also do is put Jota on that left-hand side, Salah up top with Bobby Firmino, and I would actually take Darwin Núñez out. Big fan of Núñez, and I want to see him playing as much football as possible, but the reason for that is I don't think you could drop Firmino, give him a bit of a free roll today, and Mo Salah up top through the middle, stretching that Manchester City defence, a Manchester City defence that I don't believe is going to have Kyle Walker or John Stones today, so maybe a little bit of a weakened Manchester City backline, hopefully. So stretching that defence, that Manchester City defence with Bobby Firmino playing in behind. And if we're still in the game with 25 minutes to go, if hopefully if we're winning or if it's, we're drawing or maybe if we're only a goal down, then we can chuck on this guy. Hopefully a little bit of a similar cameo they had against them in the Community Shield, just full of energy. Go long, go direct with that pace, and it will cause a lot of problems for Manchester City, I'm sure. However, I don't see Jurgen Klopp doing this today. I think if Konaté's fit, this will be the back four. I think he will go to a midfield three today. Fabinho in the six, Thiago on the left hand side, and unfortunately, Jordan Henderson on the right hand side as a number 8. Now that's something I really don't want to see. But he came off, I believe, around about the hour mark against Rangers, there or thereabouts, and that seems to suggest that obviously you're resting him for the next game. He's in your plans for the following game. So I'd imagine Jordan Henderson does start today. I don't want to slander Jordan Henderson. I know he gets enough criticism from people, and as a Liverpool fan, I think he's been underrated, if anything, at times throughout his Liverpool career. But right now, he's not in a good reign of form. Wherever you play him, he's really, really struggling. I don't think he can play in a two-man midfield, especially against Manchester City. And even in a midfield three, I still think he's a bit of a liability. I'm happy to be proven wrong. So if Jordan Henderson starts today, I'll absolutely support him, and hopefully, he will be able to solidify that midfield. That would be the midfield three I'd imagine Jurgen Klopp will go for. Salah probably on the right, Jota on the left, and Bobby Firmino through the middle. However, the big talking point is what do you do if old Konaté is injured? You could chuck Gomez next to Van Dijk, and you could chuck James Milner at right back. And whether it's Grealish or Foden up against him today, it remains to be seen. But then you would have probably Milner at right back, and Jordan Henderson in front of him. Now, that's not a right-hand side that I want to see. I don't think any Liverpool fan will want to see that. And I think that would be the right-hand side that Manchester City would be absolutely licking their lips at. However, if you don't do that, you've still got problems, because you can keep Joe Gomez at right back, but then you bring in big Nat Phillips at centre back. Now, I like Nat Phillips. I think he's a good player. However, he's not a Liverpool level player. And I feel for him, because when he came in against Crystal Palace, I wasn't actually that fearful. I thought, okay, we've seen Nat Phillips play for Liverpool. He is more than capable. He is a good Premier League quality player. I genuinely believe that. He's not a Liverpool player in the sense that he doesn't suit this system. We cannot play a high line with slow defenders. That's why when Konaté comes back in, him and Van Dijk for me would probably be our starting centre-back partnership, because Konate, he's big, he's strong, he's rapid as hell. And that's the only reason why I'd be optimistic today up against the likes of Erling Haaland, because I think Konate will match him, could match him for strength, could match him for power, could match him for pace as well. If you chuck Nat Phillips in, no, he'll be slaughtered. He'll be absolutely slaughtered. And we saw it against Palace. Obviously Gomez would be far more defensive than a Trent Alexander-Arnold, and would probably offer Nat Phillips a little bit more support. However, Haaland will just lean on Phillips. He will play on his side. You'll notice that he's the weak point. Exactly what Zaha did to us. And with Manchester City's midfield, it is head and shoulders above ours. They will skip through us. They will play that through ball. And Haaland up against Phillips, it's a mismatch. It's ridiculous. Haaland could jog past Nat Phillips and he would still win that race very, very easily. So if we do that, how many goals do you want for Man City? Like, genuinely, that's why we could concede. We could concede 6 or 7 ourselves today. I think if we played Nat Phillips at the back up against Haaland, with the likes of Grealish and Foden behind, De Bruyne as well playing those through balls, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Rodri, whoever it is behind them in midfield, they'll have an absolute field day. And I don't mean to just dig out Nat Phillips and say he's not good enough. He just doesn't suit the system. And when he signed that new deal a little while ago, I felt for him, because obviously it was a case that we wanted more money for him, but he's not a Liverpool style player. Now, if he was, played in look at our rivals, Everton, for example, far more defensive. They sit deeper, a low block. Nat Phillips would look very, very good in a team like that. So he's a good player, but playing in this setup just would not suit him. So what would I do in that situation? Well, I would keep Joe Gomez at right back, and I would chuck Fabinho in at centre back. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. If you're going to say Nat Phillips is slow, then, this guy's a bloody snail. Yes, he is. So similar problems if you play Fabinho at centre back. However, Fabinho is at a level above Nat Phillips. Let's be perfectly honest. I know he hasn't been this season, but he can play that centre-back role. He played there a couple of seasons ago in that god-awful 2021 season when every single defender that we had was out injured. And actually, he played pretty well there for a little while. And next to Van Dijk and next to Joe Gomez, I think he could do an okay-ish job today. Look, Haaland will be licking his lips, whoever he comes up against today, let's be perfectly honest. But I think Fabinho in that centre-back slot today would work well for me. Well, you can't guarantee it will work well, but I think it would be a better fit than Nat Phillips. He's calmer on the ball as well. And it might be a little bit easier for him as well, because we've seen in that midfield, he's looked old, he's looked slow, he's looked tired. In a centre-back position, he might have a look, after the first 20, 25, 30 minutes of the game, once it sort of calms down, in that centre-back position, he will have a little bit more time to be on the ball and play those passes, get his head up. In midfield, he's got no time at all. And that's when we've seen Fabinho really struggle. When people have been pressing him and getting in his face, he hasn't known what to do. He's been well off it. Playing at centre-back, he's got a little bit more time. He can see the bigger pitch, and he's got a wonderful range of passing as well, Fabinho. And that means then you would probably bring in a Jordan Henderson if you played a 2-man midfield. However, I would do something maybe a little bit wild today. So if Konate's out injured, I would bring in Fabinho, and I'll play a midfield 3, and means like that I would take out Harvey Elliott. So what I would do, worst comes to the worst, Konate's injured, Alisson in goal, Gomez right back, Robbo left back, Van Dijk centre back next to Fabinho. Up top, probably Salah on the right, Bobby through the middle, Jota on the left, keeping Darwin Núñez back for that final sort of quarter of the game. Midfield, I go Thiago on the left, Jordan Henderson on the right. And in that number 6 role, look, we've heard a lot about this kid. We've heard that he's very, very talented. It might not be the time to make a full Premier League debut. But the youngster, Bajcetic, I hope I'm saying his name correctly. I'm probably not. He's a very, 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 very talented young man. Everyone's been bigging him up. He could be Fabinho's replacement. Chuck him in. If we lose today, it's not going to be the end of the world, is it? We're not in a title race this season, unfortunately. We need to forget about top 4 as well at this moment in time. Now, we still can, in theory, potentially qualify for a Champions League place. This will be our 9th game of the season, so we'll still have about 29 games there or thereabouts the rest of the season. So we still could get into Champions League, but we kind of need to put aside those end of season goals and targets for me, and just focus on this game. And Liverpool need to be in a position where they need to hopefully. I think this is a bit of a free hit, because if we lose today, respectfully lose, it'll be sad, but I don't think it's not going to be the be all and end all of our season. If we win, fantastic. But where Liverpool need to get to is to be able to put wins on the bounce. And you need to be able to put one win becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 4, becomes 5. And this team are capable of doing it. We've seen it for a number of seasons now. But they need to be able to go on a roll, on a run, really, where they can put on 3 victories in a row. In a row, in a row. Cannot talk today. So today maybe is a little bit of a free hit. I would chuck in Bajcetic if Konate is out injured, because then you could put Fabinho behind as a centre back, and then you could put Bajcetic in front as the number 6, and just be supported by Henderson and Thiago. Play a little bit deeper if we have to. Go long, just stay in the game, and then chuck on a big Darwin Nunez up top. And then one of the reasons why I'm saying chuck him in is because I keep hearing the word transition a lot this season. This is a transitional season for Liverpool. Now, as a football fan, I'm sure a lot of you would agree with me. I hate that word in football. Hate it, because it's just an excuse for you or your team to be kind of crap. So, and I refuse to accept the word transitional season when we're seeing Van Dijk make mistakes, when we're seeing Henderson make mistakes, Fabinho make mistakes, so on and so on. These are not young players. These are not new players. What do you mean transition? They've been here for years and they're just making mistakes. Now, I can accept a Darwin Nunez making mistakes. I can accept Carvalho and Elliott making mistakes. I can accept a Bajcetic if he came in today and made some mistakes. Because for me, that would be a transition. New players, young players coming into this side, they're going to be our new players from next season onwards. I can accept that. I cannot accept mistakes from experienced players and calling it a transitional season when we've still got the same players that we've had for a number of years. So I would be brave and I would play Bajcetic if we was going to play a midfield 3 without Konate at the back. Chuck in Fabinho, because I just think Nat Phillips at centre-back, it's a lamb to slaughter, and it's not fair on him. And look, chuck Fabinho and Van Dijk up against Erling Haaland and give Bajcetic a go. It could be a disaster. It could be a piece of genius. But yeah, anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on this game today. I was going to talk a little bit about Manchester City, but that sort of slipped my mind, that we all kind of know how good Manchester City are. They've got the Terminator up top in Erling Haaland. He doesn't really need any chances, to be perfectly honest, before the ball is in the back of the net. Kevin De Bruyne, we all know about. He'll be playing in behind. Rodri, probably the best defensive midfielder in world football right now, really showing Fabinho some levels. Bernardo Silva might play, or it might be Gundogan. Whoever plays, top player that will skip through our midfield. Our midfield really has to be on it. Jack Grealish on that left-hand side. I've watched a fair few games of Manchester City this season. We could talk about Erling Haaland. He's the obvious name. But for me, one of the players of the season, or one of the players I've been so impressed with every time I've watched Manchester City, has been Jack Grealish. He might not get the numbers, he might not get the stats that we all kind of look for, and dictate his price tag at, oh, you're a £100 million player, you should be scoring more, watch him, and I'm sure he'll have an absolute field day today if he's up against James Milner. The link up between him and Erling Haaland is incredible. It's something we really need to look out for. So whoever's playing in that number 6, or playing on that right hand side, so Jordan Henderson and Fabinho, or Jordan Henderson and whoever is going to be playing behind him or next to him, they have to be really, really on it. There's little 1-2s on the edge of our penalty area. It's going to be a tough game. Phil Foden on that right hand side has gone up another level, and also Akinje that they brought in, or Akanji, I can't say his name, from Borussia Dortmund, £25 million signing. Brilliant piece of business. He might play today. It's a top centre-back. I watched him against Manchester United the other week. He was ridiculous. He was just throwing the likes of Rashford and Sancho down to the ground. Very Vincent Kompany-esque, which is a little bit of a worry. So that's kind of my thoughts. I will leave it with Anfield needs to be on it today. 4:30 afternoon, evening-y sort of game. Anfield really needs to be on it. Really, really loud, in the faces of these Manchester City players. Really make it unbearable for them and give these players the support that they need, because you have that opportunity. You're lucky enough to be going to these games. I'm not. A lot of people aren't. Do anything to be able to go for these games. Just sing for 90 minutes. Really make it a fantastic atmosphere, because we've all seen for a little while now at Anfield, it's a great atmosphere to start the game off, and it becomes too quiet too quickly. It's not just an Anfield problem, it's a problem throughout a number of stadiums in this country. So just want to see that atmosphere really, really hot today, and just stay with it for the full 90 minutes. You give it absolutely everything, even if we're losing, even if Manchester City are on top. Keep singing, keep cheering, because it absolutely does make a difference. And we know that Pep's record against, or Jurgen Klopp's record against Pep Guardiola, is pretty good, actually. So if the atmosphere is hot, if the players are on it, who knows? Who knows? There could potentially be a little bit of a miracle at Anfield today, hopefully, as a Liverpool fan. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below how you think this game is going to go. You know, can we do it? Can we beat them? Hopefully we can. But let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, absolutely give us a like and subscribe. Help this channel grow. And I will see you very, 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 very soon. So thank you so much for watching.